Hello and welcome back to my kitchen. Today I'm going to be making the butcher stew from the Nightmare Before Dinner Cookbook. All the ingredients I have laid out are for a half of a recipe, but I will be listing the full recipe down in the description below. To start with, I've already gone ahead and diced 1 red bell pepper, 1 green bell pepper, and 1 large purple onion. I've got 1 can of, I'm using canna lily beans, but you could certainly use red kidney beans here. A can of black beans, 2 cans of stewed tomatoes, a can of diced and chopped tomatoes, as well as a large can of tomato soup. You'll also need some hamburger, 1 can of whole kernel corn that I've drained. For our seasonings, you'll need salt, pepper, Cajun seasoning, cinnamon, cumin, and chili powder, as well as some sugar, sriracha sauce, crushed garlic, and some olive oil. And those are all of our ingredients. So let's go ahead and get moved over to my stove and we'll start sauteing up our vegetables. Now that we're over at my stove, I've already gone ahead and heated up my olive oil, and all I'm going to do is saute my vegetables until they start to become tender and the onions start to turn translucent. Our vegetables have been sauteing for about 3 minutes, and the onions are just now starting to turn translucent. So I'm going to go ahead and add in my hamburger, as well as the garlic, the chili powder, the cumin, and the cinnamon. And the last thing I'm going to add in right now is the sriracha sauce. I'm going to cook this for about 5 minutes, or until our hamburger is completely browned up. Now that I've got the ground beef browned up, I'm going to add in the sugar, the Cajun seasoning, the salt, and the pepper. And I'm just going to stir this until it's well incorporated. The next thing I'm going to add are my 2 cans of stewed tomatoes. Now I'm going to spend just a little bit of time trying to break these tomatoes into bite-sized pieces. They will break down a little bit more as it cooks, though, so I'm not too concerned about getting them really small right now. That's probably about as small as I'm going to get them for the minute. The next thing I'm going to add in is my can of tomato soup, my crushed and diced tomatoes, the can of whole kernel corn, as well as my white and black beans. I'm just going to stir this up, put a lid on it, and allow it to simmer for about 2 to 3 hours. The butcher stew is finally done, and I'm going to be serving it alongside the jalapeno honey cheddar cornbread that I made earlier. I've gone ahead and garnished it with a little bit of cheddar cheese, some sour cream, and some chopped green onions. All that's left to do is get in here and try it and see what we think about it. Overall, this is not a bad chili. I do find the cinnamon a tad bit on the odd side. It's the first time I've ever had cinnamon in a chili, and I doubt that I will ever add it again. I will definitely make this dish again, just leaving out the cinnamon, as well as increasing the amount of chili powder. I felt that it could have used a little bit more. I'll most likely be adding just a little bit more hot sauce to the top of it. I don't find it quite hot enough for my liking, although when I do add the cornbread into it, the jalapenos from it do help boost the spice level a little bit. But yeah, overall, not a bad recipe from the Nightmare Before Dinner Cookbook. It just needs a little bit of tweaking. If you guys would like to be a part of the Gamers and Geeks playlist, leave me a comment down below, and I'll be more than happy to tell you how you can be a part of that list. Speaking of the playlist, I will leave a link down in the description to it. Be sure to go and check that out. And I will also leave a link to the cornbread down in the description as well. If you guys have enjoyed this video, leave me a comment down below. If you guys try this recipe out, let me know what you think about it. And as always, thank you all so very much for joining me today. I've been Volt Girl. I hope you guys have enjoyed, and I hope I'll see you in the next one.